Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into getting a Serbia work permit if you're an Indian citizen, looking specifically at 2025. We're using a step-by-step guide as our main source here.
That's right. The idea is to really break down the essential stages for anyone thinking about this.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So the absolute first thing, the critical starting point, is getting that job offer, yeah? From a registered Serbian employer.
Exactly. And crucially, they have to be willing to sponsor the work permit.
Right, sponsorship is key. You can't really move forward without it.
Precisely. Serbia's system, unlike maybe some others, really hangs on that employer commitment right from the get-go.
Okay, so you've got the job offer, then the ball's in the employer's court, right?
Correct. Step 2 involves them. They need to apply for the actual work permit.
And where do they do that?
They apply to the National Employment Service in Serbia, the NES.
Got it, NES. What do they need to, submit?
Well, the guide mentions things like the employment contract or maybe a letter of intent, also their business registration details.
Makes sense.
And this is often a big part proof that they couldn't find a suitable local candidate.
Ah, the labor market test. I've heard about those.
Yeah. Though the source does say there might be waivers, maybe for certain jobs.
Interesting. Like what kind of jobs? Does the guide give hints? Maybe tech or something specialized?
Yeah, often things like highly specialized tech roles or fields needing, specific international experience. Showing that need could help get that waiver.
Right, okay. So let's say the employer gets the green light from the NES. What happens next for the employee, the Indian citizen?
Okay, here's where you, the applicant, really step in. You need to apply for a Serbian long-term visa. That's the Type D visa.
A Type D. And that's what lets you actually enter Serbia for work.
Exactly. It's your entry ticket, essentially, for the purpose of employment.
And I bet there's a list of documents for that, too.
Oh, absolutely. As you'd expect for relocating long-term, it's pretty substantial.
Lay it on us. What are we talking about?
Okay, so your passport, obviously, needs to be valid for at least 3 months beyond your planned stay.
Good tip.
Then the work permit approval itself, or maybe that confirmation letter from the employer, proof you have somewhere to live in Serbia.
Accommodation proof, like a lease.
Could be. Or maybe a letter. Also, health insurance and proof you can support yourself financially.
So bank statements.
Oh.
Or maybe the sponsor guarantees it.
Either of those, usually. Plus, you'll need a police clearance certificate from back home in India.
Okay, standard stuff. Anything else?
Passport photos and the receipt showing you paid the visa fee.
And where do you apply for this Type D back in India?
Yes, at the Serbian embassy or consulate. Typically New Delhi or Mumbai, according to the guide.
Right. Got to be meticulous with that paperwork, I imagine. One missing thing could really slow you down.
Definitely. No room for error there.
Okay, Type D visa secured. Now what? Fly to Serbia.
Yeah, that's step 4. Travel to Serbia, but you're not done yet.
Oh.
Once you arrive, you have a deadline. Within 30 days, you must apply for a temporary residence permit.
Ah, okay. And where's that done?
At the local police station, specifically the part handling foreigners, which falls under the Ministry of Interior.
So you go from the visa to the residence permit. That makes it more official, your right to live and work there long term.
Exactly. It formalizes your status based on your job.
More documents for this step, I assume?
You guessed it. You'll need your passport again, with the Type D visa inside. The work permit document, too.
And the proof of residence again?
Yes, like that rental contract or landlord's letter. Plus, Serbian valid health insurance, another letter from your employer, proof of funds again, and the specific application form.
Wow, okay. Quite a process. So after submitting that, what happens?
You wait for approval. The guide suggests maybe a few weeks. Once approved, you get your residence card.
And then you're officially good to go. Live and work legally.
That's the final stage, yes.
Yeah.
You're officially registered and permitted.
Okay, that's a pretty clear breakdown. Let's quickly recap some key takeaways and the timeline.
Good idea.
So a big one seems to be translation. Documents not in Serbian need official translation, right? Maybe even notarization.
Yes, that's crucial. Translation, potentially certification by a notary. Factor in time and cost for that.
Good point. Also worth noting, the guide mentions some companies, maybe bigger ones or tech firms, might actually help with all this red tape.
Definitely worth asking a potential employer about that. It could make a huge difference.
For sure. And timeline-wise, what are we looking at roughly?
Well, the guide gives estimates, maybe 2 to 4 weeks for the employer to get the work permit sorted.
Okay.
Then another 2 to 4 weeks, perhaps, for your Type D visa application back in India.
Right.
And once you're in Serbia and apply for residence, maybe another 2 to 3 weeks for that approval.
So all told, a few months potentially, if everything goes smoothly?
Potentially, yeah.
Uh,
But these are just estimates, remember. Processing times can always vary.
of course. So there we have it, a deep dive into the Serbia work permit process for Indian citizens in 2025, based on that guide.
Seems like a manageable process if you're prepared.
It does, but it's definitely multi-stage with a lot of documentation. Which leads to a final thought. Considering this whole process we've just walked through, what does that level of complexity and paperwork really suggest about the commitment needed, for pursuing these kinds of international work opportunities today? Something to mull over.